Hello, hello. I am so grateful you are here. This is Julie Jordan Scott, and I am thrilled that you're joining. We're going to be doing some talking about planning and how to create a ridiculously fabulous, or whatever word you'd like to wrap around it, beginning of May and beginning of this new week. One of the first questions that I often ask is this very simple one, as you can see on the screen. What are you looking forward to this week? And what are you looking forward to this month? If you don't have an answer right away, guess what? That's totally okay. You can take your time with some journaling, with some contemplation, maybe with meditation, or maybe having a conversation with friends. What are you looking forward to? My name is Julie Jordan Scott. If we haven't met yet, you may be a part of our Let Our Words Flow creative community, and you may just be meeting me for the first time. But I'm a creative life coach, and I work with people to reignite their creativity with a special emphasis on writing. I also do a lot with mindfulness and meditation, poetry, and theater. And wow, I'm just really looking forward to getting back in the swing of sharing live stream videos and showing up more regularly. It's been a really different last bit of time in my life, and I'm ready to get back to where and who I am. So glad that you're here today. So I really love to take Sunday nights to do some planning for the week ahead, and also beginning of the new year, or beginning of the feels like a new year for me, the beginning of a new month, doing the same thing. As you come in the room, if you'd like to let me know that you're here, that would be great. You can put a comment. If you're watching on replay, say replay, and act as if you're here live, because that's really how you get the most benefit. So let's go back to our slides that we made. So what are you looking forward to this week, this month? If you haven't given it much thought yet, I would suggest that you look at that and journal about it. If you have no idea, start creating ideas. What am I looking forward to? What do I like to do? What would feel good to me? The second thing is, when we plan on Sundays, instead of just waking up tomorrow haphazardly, you'll wake up tomorrow feeling a little bit more confident in your month and week ahead. Now, Pablo Picasso said this: our goals can only be reached through a vehicle of a plan, in which we must fervently believe and upon which we must vigorously act. There is no other route or route to success. So, one of the things that always surprised me as a life coach is how many of the people I work with, how many of my clients, how many of my friends even have kind of a strange relationship about goals. So, I'm going to ask you these questions, and I'm going to ask you also to write this down. What are your first thoughts about goals? What are your first thoughts about plans? And what are your beliefs about plans and goals? You might not have any idea at first about what these might be, but there's a big clue for you in your behavior, in what you do, in what you don't do, and the feelings that come up with you when I present the question. Some people would turn and run away at the thought of goals or plans. And I would like for you instead to just be open to thinking about it. Hello, so glad to see you. I'm just back. It's funny, I haven't done this for a while, so it's really good to see Tish and Mary Fran. And I feel intimidated by goals, and goals can be intimidating. I will agree with you. And I would say that having no goals and no plans is very wobbly, very wobbly. I am going to share with you. I think I'm trying to remember. I didn't even relook at my slides before I started doing this broadcast. I was so excited to be here that I just like jumped right in. So whoops. This quote and these questions are kind of to get you going, and this is really where the rubber meets the road. So the very simple prompts are, and you might want to write these down or take a screenshot. I am looking forward to also, by the way, I will have these and I'll put them up in both the Writing Camp page and the Let Our Words Flow page. I'll do that tomorrow also on my Instagram. But for those of you who are in the group, it'll be going up there. If you're not in the group, please request to join us. We'd love to have you. Here are the prompts. I am looking forward to ... not commas, typo. I would like to feel. And then I am so happy when I. Now, if you would like to comment on any of these, that's a good place to start. Because when you take time with these kinds of questions, when you let them steep for a while, I think that we get closer to what's true in us than when we just first blurt out an answer. But you have to start somewhere. So if you want to take a second and respond to one of those prompts in the comments, that is a really fantastic start. And let me, again, I'm feeling really awkward with my maneuvering around the StreamYard. So I'm going to show you something. Here we go. I'm going to show you something that I use, and I'm almost done with this. This is what I call my roll over and write journal. And I talk about the roll over and write journal on a regular basis. And it is nothing formal. It is nothing fancy. This is just a, blank book type thing. And how I use it is I write a note before I go to sleep. And then I see it says, it's how you call it roar. It's roll over and write like RIGHT instead of ROAW, which is right. But see here you can see this is 2/23/23, February 23rd. And I was so sleepy. Tomorrow will be a good day, I'm writing. And then on the 24th, I just woke up and wrote again. Let's see if there's anything very important here. Oh, I wrote about a nightmare that I had. And then I wrote of what I want to continue to do and what I would like to feel like when I make progress. How I want to feel, what I want to do specifically. I wasn't super specific here. It was more general. I said I want to continue to move forward with love. And I want to feel like progress is consistent. The next night or a couple nights later, I wrote, "Good night, sweet Julianne. Healing vibes and dream messages, please." When you ask for dreams or when you ask before you go to sleep for how do I want to feel, I'm not sure how I really want to feel. Overnight, I would like to find out how I really want to feel or what I really want to achieve or what's super important to me, because right now I'm so caught up in the confusion of every day that I'm not getting it. And then I'm going to turn the page because that's some personal stuff there. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so right here I said tomorrow morning, here I'm giving myself an assignment. Tomorrow morning, wake up, meditate, do 5 a.m. Writers Club, meditation, writing, planning, right there. This is so basic. I'm not even writing in sentences. But by doing this, it's the foundation of the writing part and the foundation of planning. So my suggestion to you is to talk about things with your friends. Okay, Mary Fran. Oh, you're so happy when your house is clean. I would be happy if my house is clean too. If anybody would like to come over and clean it for me or with me, that'd be great. Mary Fran says, one of the things I'm looking forward to is Mother's Day, is getting lots of flowers for Mother's Day. All spring, summer, most of fall, I have a deck and patio with lots of flowers in the pots. Well, I'm sure, Mary Fran, there's some planning that goes into that. I noticed that you didn't say getting lots of gifts of flowers from other people. It sounds like you planned that yourself. And I imagine that is something that you do regularly. And that's just a part of your overall plan. May have started a long time ago. Tish says, I'm so happy to wake up early and feel rested. Me too. Are you a morning person, Tish, like me? I'm so happy when I wake up. This morning I woke up, it was Sunday. I woke up at 5:30 and I was like, oh my goodness, it's 5:30. I've overslept. I'll let myself stay in bed for 15 more minutes. I'll listen to some affirmations. Now, I know for some of you that might seem really crazy, but for me, it felt really abundant to have slept in that long. I told some friends of mine about this morning, and they thought I was a little bit nuts, and that's okay. That's how I felt abundant. I felt content. I felt like I had slept like a queen. That felt really good. And so what does that do? It helps me feel better coming in here. It helps me feel better going and doing my work. It helps me to write better and create better. So there's some things for you to think about. Oh, Mary Fran's are very excited, looking forward to her husband getting gifts from her. His birthday's this month. That's awesome, Mary Fran. I'm doing some traveling in May. I'm going to be seeing my West Coast family and my mom's. That will be interesting. And in Cincinnati, the flowers are the ones the bees, butterflies, and birds enjoy. I bet they do. I really, really bet they do. And it's so wonderful to have you sharing here about these things, Mary Fran, because the interesting thing is that when we share like this, when we have these conversations, it makes everything better, doesn't it? So now I can't remember how to take away the conversation here. Hang on, Mary Fran. I'll see if I can remember how to do this part. Yes, it does take planning. We'll leave that there because that's relevant no matter what. So we'll keep that there for now, Mary Fran, unless I figure out how to have a blank screen. So we'll go back to the slides real quick as we're talking about more planning. Nope, it's just going to stay there. Oh, I figured it out. Thank you, StreamYard. StreamYard must have some AI component. It heard me say that. So all those things that Tish and Mary Fran said first, I would suggest also to spend maybe 5 minutes to go deeper in that. You're looking forward to different things that are coming up. You may want to see if there's other things you're looking forward to. And again, having good conversations with friends helps. Some other things you might want to think about that are not right away, although we actually covered tomorrow morning, feeling good, as Tish said. We talked about May birthdays and Mother's Day. Those are all May things. We also might want to think, besides the month right ahead or that starts tomorrow, is we might also want to think about summer plans and maybe even winter and fall holidays. Questions like, who do I want to spend time with this summer? And where would you most like to go? How do you want to feel when you go in these places and are with these people? Sometimes when we are thinking about where we might want to go and with whom, we haven't thought about how those people make us feel. Or we haven't thought about like the balance. It sounds weird, the balance of power. But like some people who want a really regimented schedule and some people want a more flexible schedule. Some people want to sit by a pool and read and sunbathe, and some people want to constantly be sightseeing. Some people want to sit at home in the rental or the Airbnb or whatever you're doing, playing board games, and other people want to be lying in bed by themselves, which makes the people who want to play board games feel bad because they want to be together. And sometimes the introverts among us want to have quiet time. In my family, we build all of that right in. That works really well. But when I travel with people who I'm not as close to, like family, it can be tricky. What memories are important to you and what conversations do you want to have? These can also work whether you're talking about business or collaborations or partnerships or marriage or friendships or your own creativity or writing that book or creating that program, or I know maybe perhaps doing a speech or doing more public storytelling. Again, these pieces, if you can see in the right-hand corner that are so important, write about it, contemplate it, meditate, talk about it. All of these use different parts of your brain and help you to think perhaps from a different perspective. And if you use what I talked about, the rollover and write journal, what this does is this starts your subconscious mind pulling stuff together while you're sleeping. And when you get up, pieces fall into place that you weren't expecting. That's like the secret weapon of the rollover and write journal. The other thing is that when I write in it, I write to Julianne, who is my highest self. And I like to think that this sweet little book is a collaboration with me, Julianne, my highest self, and divinity. So I invite you to try that as well. So I hope that you will take some time tonight. Maybe you've started getting your wheels turning, gotten some things spinning around up there, and you can really spend some time planning for this week in ways you hadn't thought of. And I know that I'm going to be doing that. Okay, good. Tish says she loves these questions as prompting you to check in with yourself. Excellent. Another thought that just popped in my head, Tish, and others who are watching that you may want to use and you may not want to use, and either are fine. And that is to check in with others as well. Have those conversations. Um, there we go. Have the conversations that you might not normally have. Things like I know that sometimes, again, when you're talking about the planning for parties, social events, or going places with people, is we might say to people, "What do you want to do when we get there?" Instead of things like, "How do you want to feel?" and "What's important to you? What kind of memories do you want to make?" Business. How much time do you want to invest in your business while you are traveling? How much time do you want to spend one-on-one with people, and how much time do you want to spend in a big group? In one of my recent trips, I traveled with friends, and I'm an early bird, as we heard earlier, and I actually went off on my own in the mornings while everybody else slept. I told them, I'm going to go watch the sunrise, and nobody jumped in to do that with me. I was shocked. But really, going to watch the sunrise by myself was probably the most amazing part of the whole trip for me. So consider those things. Consider those things when you are making plans. And that's the same with if you're like a home-based entrepreneur. Consider how much time you want to invest in your business, especially if there's other people around in the house, and how does that work out for you? And if you don't plan, one of my biggest things when my kids were growing up, especially in high school age, was how much they needed me compared to elementary school. When they were in school, literally, they went to magnet school. They're gone from 8 until 5. And so I had a great chunk of time, and they were happy-go-lucky. It was in high school when things got rough. And nobody told me about this. Nobody warned me that this could happen. And so, it is what it is. Retrospect is 2020. So my plan is to come in here on Sundays like I used to, again. And so I'm going to be going live again here next week. And here's what we're going to be doing next week. There we go. This is one of my favorite things to do, and that is to do a recap every day, or again, I don't really like to use everys, but give a recap of the day, week, or month that you're currently experiencing. So like right now in April, you might want to get a head start on this. Look at back your April and think things like, what are the top 3 achievements I've had this April? What is something I've done that I'm so thrilled that I did? What are my biggest surprises of the month? We're going to talk about how to do that next week. I'll probably even do an example right here live. I'll probably recap this week I'm about to live next week during the live, so you can see some of the ways that I do that. And the reason we do that is multifold. It's going to be the same time, by the way, if you can see on the slide. The reason we're going to do this is multifold. One is it helps us to, I didn't realize I wasn't on the big screen. Let me show that again a little bit better. When we are aware and when we take note and when we document, it's easier for us to really know like what happened and what worked and what didn't. It's amazing if you go a month from now or 2 months from now, how little you will remember of what you did. And I know sometimes when I'm reading my journals or my writings, I'll say things like, I'll never forget this day. And I'll have no recollection of what the heck I was talking about in that writing. But if you take the time to document and recap, and it doesn't have to be difficult, it doesn't have to take a lot of time, and it makes a huge, huge difference. So, hey, I'm thrilled. I am proud that I made it here and that we got to spend this time together, whether it's live or on the replay, because I'll tell you all a little story. It'll be on the Writing Camp page in the next day or two. But amazing things are happening for me and with me right now. And I'll be talking about some of the outcomes from that in the days and weeks to come. But on Saturday, I had a dream, and I had a dream where I cried out. And in that dream where I cried out, I literally cried out. Now, I know that might sound strange. In the past, when I had dreams and I cried out in my sleep, you know what happened? Nothing. because my voice was squelched. I literally could not speak out. I could not scream. And on Saturday morning, when I woke up in the middle of the night, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I screamed. I woke up and I was like, hey, I screamed. What a wonderful nightmare. It's like my voice is coming back. Whew. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. So I'm really grateful to have had the chance to share that with you and give you a little bit of a preview of what's to come in the next week and what's to come. I'm glad you like the questions, Mary Fran. They'll be in the group shortly and also on the Writing Camp page. So be on the lookout in case you want to see them in graphic form. So spend time with the questions, talk about them with friends. I'm grateful that you shared them, your answers with me here first. And I hope you have a great start to your week. We'll talk again soon. Bye.